let's launch right into this. I'm going to intro this time. Hello, my name is Arcturus. You may call me Archie.
Hello, I am Punct. You can call me Punct.
We just recorded a beautiful commentary on Mission Impossible 1, but because of what I assume is a sound card issue on my end, we lost half of it, so we'll be re-recording that tomorrow. But know ahead of time, it's fucking good. We have such a TED Talk in store for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get ready for that.
Yeah, but instead we're going to pivot to our favorite, because I need Benji done to fix me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is just an incredible movie from start to finish. Like, Arc, you say that, like, Ghost Protocol is a really good leverage episode. This is, like, Rogue Nation is, like, the essence of Mission Impossible movies. It's not, like, the peak, which I think Fallout is, but it's, like, this has every component that any Mission Impossible fan, in my opinion, could ever want. It's perfect.
Yeah. It is. It's thrilling. It's funny. It's gorgeous. It has interesting plot beats. It has the best villain in the series. It has good writing. Everything makes sense. It
has wonderful character moments. It's just like, it's so good.
It has Ethan in some kind of shirt. I don't understand the shirt, but it's a shirt. So, this is like, yeah, this is, we love a lot of the movies. I almost said all, but we know that that's not true.
No,
J.J. Abrams, meet me in the pit.
And MI2, get out of here.
Yeah. But this is our favorite. This is the one that you go to when you just want something fun and delightful and well made. And thank you, McHugh. God, thank you, McHugh. McHugh is great. Okay. My copy of this movie is 2 minutes. No, that'd be short. 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 3 seconds. And I'm going to hit play in 3, 2, 1.
And are the captions on?
Every fucking time. There we go.
It's stupid that they don't keep them on. It's so annoying.
Yeah, Paramount, come on. I can't process anything without captions.
Except apparently song lyrics.
This is true. I live in a household that does not like captions and finds them very distracting. So,
wow, that's tough.
Know. Right? Me, living in a household with people who do not want captions.
I'm baffling. So sorry. Yeah.
Oh, I lied back in Ghost Protocol when I said it was Skydance's first film. It was their third, but I was right that it was their first big film.
Okay.
So, I was still mostly right.
I appreciate the correction there. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to lie with any of the completely unsourced things that I say in this one. Thankfully, most of the things I say you could Google and look up for yourselves, and you should, because, yeah, there's some wild shit.
We will say, this is also produced by Bad Robot, aka J.J. Abrams, and he does a fantastic job. As a producer, he's great. We're not unreasonable here.
Uh-huh. I am. I want to fight him outside of a Denny's. Brant is magical in this.
Brant is so good. I love that Brant stays with his sort of, like,
analyst bureaucrat thing.
Yes, I love it. I love that it almost, like, on a meta level, it's very cool that, like, he was set up in some ways to be Ethan's successor, and he was like, actually, fuck this. I want to be a bureaucrat. I just think that's very funny.
It's interesting because, like, this is the role that they wanted Tom Cruise to step into.
Uh-huh. Can you imagine what a waste that would have been?
I love Luther's literally in another country and he's helping them out because Benji called.
And I think they mentioned it, I think McQuarrie mentioned this in one of the Fuse podcasts, but literally they film that, like, the very last thing, and that shot of Luther is basically just him up a series of stairs on one of the lots, and they had to shoot everything really close so that you couldn't tell. There was literally just, like, a stairway on the outside of a building in Los Angeles.
Well, luckily, Ving Rhames has a beautiful face in this movie, and I do not mind. Also, wait, what's even funnier is the thing about the ghillie suit?
No, tell me.
Oh my god, so, like, TC and McQuarrie were figuring out this scene, and they were, like, working with the costume stuff, and they found this ghillie suit, and they both, like, put it on and modeled it and sent pictures to fucking Simon Pegg, like, we found your outfit.
Incredible.
They're both they're great. They're great.
And also, apparently, so they were talking about this plane because I don't remember whether it was related to Top Gun or whether they were just talking about this plane related to Mission Impossible. And McQuarrie literally joked, he was like, ha, look, it's taken off. You could be on the outside of it. And TC's like, oh, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, sure.
Fucking crazy person.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is one of the worst stunts he's done. He also says that this is the scariest one because, like, it makes perfect sense to me because he has no control over what the fuck is going on. He just has to endure this. Yeah.
So you have to note what you've told me at Arc is that there is actually a wire going from
There is
TC.
A full aluminum harness holding it. The problem is not him falling off. They are not worried about that.
Yes, tell them the real scary bit.
Yeah, the real scary bit is this is a big-ass fucking plane, so obviously they have to be able to take off and land safely, but if they speed up too much, they risk ripping him off the side of the plane, even with a harness. I'm talking about maiming, which would be bad. He's going so fast that he has to wear, like, glass contacts, so he can't see shit, but to open his eyes, he has to have protection over them. Go ahead.
Yeah. Plus, if there's even the tiniest thing that enters the engines in front of TC, it would fuck him up severely. Like a little rock, anything, it would go straight to him.
And we know this because, like, they had to sweep the runway beforehand before doing each of these shots, and they missed a pebble, which flew at him so hard that it nearly cracked one of his ribs. And if it hadn't hit the rib, it would have hit his heart and killed him. So, just like
this fucking man.
Yeah. Stick to motorcycle jumps, my guy.
Although maybe not motorcycle jumps off a cliff.
No, definitely do more of those. Definitely do 6 in a day. This is, I'm so excited. I'm already grinning even though we lost a bunch of audio. Like, this is going to heal me.
It is.
Benji Dunn can fix me.
Yeah.
And this is the Ethan and Benji movie. It's glorious.
Yep. That was why I was so surprised when you told me that originally Ghost Protocol got a lot of shippers involved because of Brant and Benji. Because to me, I always saw this as the shipping movie because it's just like so clearly on a narrative level. Benji is the romantic lead. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's delightful. I love that you could see Lane.
Oh my god, that's true. Holy shit, I've never noticed that.
What the fuck do you think he's listening to?
I don't know.
Does he have good taste or bad taste?
Oh, another thing that I realized that somehow it didn't occur to me until today. But actually, I'll point it out when we get there. Never mind. I'll point it out.
No, we have to watch Ethan immediately imprint on another person.
And I was thinking about this. I love that he imprints on her because she is in awe of him. It's just it's sort of like, it's a very sweet thing because he's like, oh, I'm a legend to this person. I'm immediately going to feel some sort of responsibility for them. And maybe I'm like reading too much into it, but it feels very much like a thing that to a certain extent TC probably does, where like he's so used to this. Like this is again, if you're talking about how the movies are sort of about making movies, at this stage, Ethan Hunt is equivalent in reputation to TC.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, and one of the running jokes in Eye of the Duck was like, does he want to die for his own sins or for, like, cinema? And it's like, well, for cinema. And this is, like, in so much, like, out of all of the movies, out of all the ones that, like, people say, like, oh, the Mission Impossible movies are about making movies, I think Rogue Nation is the one that is most about movies and about making these movies specifically. When we get to the final, like, bombastic moment that Ethan has, I'll lay out, like, the kind of theory of, like, what the subtext of that scene is, because it's incredible. But the entire thing is also about that, about why we need these movies, which I concur. I do think I need these movies. Thank you. I haven't watched movies this much in literally years, because most movies are not like this anymore. They're all MCU and the Disneyfication of our media, which is not my vibe.
Yeah, after Arc got into this series, I watched all 3 movies in a single night, which was more movies that I'd probably watched since the start of the COVID pandemic. And since then, it has probably been like triple or quadruple as many again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think TC would be proud of that, honest to God.
As someone who has gone on record, or there's been records of him saying that he tries to watch about a movie a day. That's insane to me, as someone who a schedule as busy as his.
Yeah. And he just wants to save actual cinema. Oh, okay. We need to drop that context, and we need to talk about this. This fucking glass box.
Glass box. And the fact that Ethan is so helpless in this moment. The fact that
so mad.
Yeah. And we will, in the end, because we lost that footage, we'll go back and do MI1. But the fact that Ethan has come so far since where he started, and he's still helpless to stop things like this, he's still helpless to actually help people and save them, is gut-wrenching. It's just, you can tell how much it bothers him throughout this entire movie.
Yeah, the fact that, and it's like Solomon, like, as much as we give him shit for being a petty bitch, he does understand human nature enough, and specifically Ethan Hunt enough, that he did that. And he knew that that was like the hook. That is like making Ethan Hunt swallow a hook, and you have him from that moment on. You can't shake him at that moment, because you've done this thing that you can't pry out of him. So it's exactly what Solomon wants, but also is basically, he's signed his own prison sentence.
Yeah, does Solomon ever explain why he's so interested in getting Ethan to chase him? Like, is it just sort of like...
Well, we know that Ethan... The most explicit thing is that Ethan has been following the Syndicate, and he's the closest person to understanding what it is and how to take it out. Because remember, Hunley doesn't believe that the Syndicate exists. Most people don't. Everybody kind of thinks that, like, Ethan is a little crazy. But, you know, obviously Solomon's like, well, I got this guy on my tail, and he just happens to be the greatest agent that the IMF has ever had. Whoopsie daisy. I better do something about that.
So probably his whole plan was to set Ethan up as being crazy. And then he underestimated the fact that Ethan is actually so good of an agent that even when he's on his own, completely isolated from the entire rest of the IMF, he's still enough to, not quite single-handedly, but pretty damn close, take down the Syndicate.
Almost single-handedly. It's almost like he needs just one more person. A special friend who can protect him and help him. Ethan spends 6 months trying to go it alone, and it doesn't work. This is Ethan's sluttiest scene in this movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's
also wild to me.
Like, he's so uncomfortable.
He's so uncomfortable, but also, how old is TC when they're filming this movie? That's insane for him to be at least in his 50s when they're filming this movie, and he has a very long, very extended shirtless scene. Crazy.
Yep. Oh, here we go. The weird vial. You gotta have a weird vial. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the same vial that everybody is just passing around movie to movie. And it's like, you have the vial.
It's not that easy to get your hands on vials like that. They're unmarked and everything.
McQuarrie noted that, like, this shooting scene sucked for TC because, having your arms up for that long, no matter what, sucks.
Yeah, I bet.
Also, hello, Ilsa.
Hi, Ilsa.
Literally the ballast that keeps this movie going. She's so fucking good. She is the plot.
Do they mention in the commentary which they filmed first? Did they film this where she took off her shoes first, or did they film Shoes Please first?
I do not know. But yeah. Fucking Tom Cruise and his fixation on, like, when people are wearing shoes and when they're not just makes me feel doxxed. And to be clear, I have the opposite of a foot fetish. I don't like anybody touching my feet. I don't like touching other people's feet. It is, to a point, it's a thing. It's like, nope, don't touch. Don't break my barricade. But the symbolic reasoning, the way it's a signifier in narrative, I get it. I'm nodding a lot. I understand TC, and it makes me uncomfortable how much I understand.
It's wrapped up in a single piece of clothing, sort of, is how vulnerable you are.
Yes.
Because, it's like you rely on your feet. Yeah, that is... It's
anyway.
So intensely sexual. And I love that because I love that, like, again, if we're thinking about the gender dynamics, like, this Ethan is so opposite from how he is at the beginning, in the sense that this is very much in some ways a sexualized placement of the characters, and yet it never feels sexualized. He doesn't feel like there's any sort of, like, sexual element to this.
But, like, Winter definitely brings that vibe. Wow, I can't believe I've seen this so many times, but, like, he's shirtless and he has his arms up over his head. This is extremely, Yeah. And the thing that Winter does, like, all of his signifiers, Winter signifiers, are like, I'm getting off on this shit. Interesting. Gender is interesting.
Yeah, right?
That one's pretty. What's that for? Oh, I love this. I do love she literally just steps in front of him. And it's like, he's like, the fuck?
Okay. We didn't point them out in other movies, but there are a couple of things like this. The fact that the thing that Ilsa has is the key is connected to a rabbit's foot. I think it's fairly clever. It's fairly clever. And there are a couple moments like this in the movies, but I don't remember the other ones right now.
I love that he can't reach.
That is so good.
It's funny. Especially when we get to how he gets out of the situation is so fucking batshit.
Yes, and I love how you point out that it shows that he could have gotten out of this at any point. Like, this absolute batshit move, he could have done that at any point.
He was getting a feel for what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. Or he wasn't as motivated as when there was someone else in danger. As soon as there's someone else in danger, suddenly he can do these incredible feats, which I think is, on a meta level, what's happening.
And boom, he's in love. He is imprinted. I just, Now you are stuck with him, Ilsa. I'm sorry. He runs very fast, so you will have a hard time getting rid of him. Apologies ahead of time. And Ilsa in her legs.
Yeah,
it's funny to compare to, like, how much we bitched about, or I did. I don't remember how much you bitched about it. The kicking in MI2. And now we see somebody. That's such a fucking good line. It's like, I'm in love with you? Have we met before? But the way she actually fights with her legs, and it makes sense, and it feels like it makes sense to her, like, locomotion.
It makes it feels like she is using her
leverage,
her best assets, and she's using the way that she has probably a lower center of gravity than a lot of these people.
Mm-hmm.
She's just using it as a weapon rather than the kicking in MI2 just felt so unnecessary.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the way that she forces his hand. She's like she rats him out immediately. He has to run.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Obviously, we have to talk about it.
What?
What's your opinion on his hair in this movie?
Oh, good. Excellent.
Really?
Really good. Yes. I love his hair in this movie.
Even though it's on the longer side.
I'm not against length. I just think it's better when it's shorter. We are shorter than Ghost Protocol, but we're not as short as Fallout, which is admittedly my favorite Ethan hair.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, and yeah, we just had another BE11. I do love that.
Yep, BE11 that comes up very importantly in our fic.
Mm. It's so good that we paired this one against MI1 because we are having another phone booth scene with Ethan freaking out and realizing that he's on his own.
But this time, he's reporting to someone who actually gives a shit and will watch his back.
Yes. Yeah, because he has the weight of years behind him, and he's actually found people that he trusts.
Mm-hmm.
He has more than just Luther.
Yeah. And it's like, still, there, I think it's in the Light the Fuse podcast, one of the interviewers asked McQuarrie, or intended to ask McQuarrie about, Ethan's very long track record with really bad middle management. And like how, which I think is a hilarious way of phrasing it. And it's just like, even when the issue is not that the IMF is evil, it's still sort of, the issue is that the IMF is fucking useless. Like, either way,
yes.
It's just like, Ethan is never getting the backing. It feels
like, to me, like, I don't know how much he actually cares about the IMF. To me, it feels like they are the people who will supply him with what he needs to actually do the job. And sometimes he has to run interference and deal with their shit. Though that's what Brandt is for, which I think is why he likes Brandt so much. He's like, oh, thank God, somebody to handle the bureaucratic shit so I don't have to. But all he wants is a credit card with no spending limit and some caches of, like, gear, and just leave him alone.
Yeah.
Just don't talk to him. Lose his number.
It's in some ways, like you're saying, it's like, it's not about necessarily the people he's working with. It's not about the IMF. It's something we'll talk about more in MI1, but it's like the passion tax, right? It's like the making of movies. It's like TC doesn't have any particular passion for, like, executives who, like, decide on what movies get greenlit or how they get run or whatever. He cares about the actual, like, process of making the movies and how
there's a reason he is a producer himself, and he became a producer around MI1 because he wanted to have this control. Yeah. It feels like a very direct metaphor. Langley is not explicitly Paramount, but they're not Paramount. They're Paramount.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Keep trying to shut down the IMF, and he has to just keep coming here and proving that these missions/movies matter. Mm-hmm. And they do, and he's right. I love older Ethan. I don't like his beard in this because it's so hard to lay a good fake beard.
It's not good. I do find it sort of amusing how it sort of looks like,
do you remember the shitty one in MI3?
It looks like Lane's beard
you're right.
In Fallout.
That one's real, though.
Yeah, but it feels, it's not good. But
it's not good.
It feels very similar in the sense that it's like, oh, this guy is, like, slightly unhinged right now.
Jeremy Renner is great.
Yeah.
I love Renner's role in this so much as the guy running interference, basically. He's just trying to keep people alive. You know the whole idea that, like, when you work in retail, you should never trust your boss, or you shouldn't trust your boss anytime.
Uh-huh.
This is, like, the guy who's technically your supervisor, but is mostly just trying to keep everybody from getting fired when he knows that upper management sucks.
Yeah, it's like your like, shift manager who is just, like...
He makes $5 more than you tops.
Uh-huh. This is the thing that I only realized today. This isn't just... This is diegetic music, or the other one. It's not diegetic music. Benji is actually listening to the opera right then. I had never realized that. I thought it was just...
He's not listening to Turandot. He's listening to something else, but it is opera. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just thought that was really funny. Music. I assumed it was always just sort of like, oh, we are cutting the scene to something different and we're showing it through this.
And then you realize as soon as he takes off his headphones, it's off. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's great. This thing is, like, Benji, like, this is not actual shade to any fic writer. Like, Benji keeps being portrayed as, like, the kind of nerd who's into, like, sci-fi and stuff, but there's no, like, I keep saying the word signifier just because now it's on my brain. There's no sign of that in the movies, but we do get the sign that he's a nerd for video games, and oh my god, is he a nerd for theater.
Yeah.
And I like that, because that's a different type of nerd, and it's interesting that Benji is that type of nerd. Mm-hmm. I really, really, really like that, and that's why my story, like, kind of very much narrows in on that. Yeah. But literally no tea, no shade to anybody who portrays him as a different type. I just think this type is very interesting, and we don't see it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Also, I love his facial hair. It's so good.
He looks so fucking good in this movie.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Who wouldn't be in love with him?
No one.
Certainly not Ethan. Ethan's head over heels.
The number of times I have said that I will marry Benji Dunn while betting the fic that we're working on is just so many times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's so, like, okay, we haven't watched Ghost Protocol recently. That was, like, at least a couple days ago. But, like, the arc, we talk so much about the arc of Ethan, but the arc of Benji is just as good. How he's gone from basically like a tertiary character, if that. Though he had one very memorable scene, which obviously Ethan imprinted on him during, because he got to, he helped him run, and that's important. And then we got to Ghost Protocol, where he was brand new. He's been in the field for like a couple of months, and he's still nervous and jumpy, but competent.
And has a whole bunch of hero worship for Ethan. And then you come to this movie, where now they're basically equals. Now you get this point where Benji's like, no, I'm an asset to you. I refuse to leave you to die, basically. Like, I'm gonna help you, and you can't stop me.
Yes.
And I love that.
He keeps proving over and over that, like, he's good at this. I like when characters are allowed to become competent. And
it's especially good.
Look at that face.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's especially good because I think most in Ghost Protocol, Benji is the comic relief. And it's very rare to be able to have someone who's a comic relief get upgraded or allowed to be competent at the same time. Because so often the comic relief is just like that idiot. And so it's so nice to be able to, like, see him also being this incredibly good agent.
Yeah. Who Ethan needs. Ethan has been doing this for 6 months and has not been making much headway, and is always a step behind until he recruits Benji and starts chasing after Ilsa. Like, obviously working on his own is not working.
Yeah. Also, we obviously talked through the polygraph version, but I think it's really interesting. I really wish someone would write a fic about how Benji adapted that skill. Like, did Ethan teach him this before, like in between Ghost Protocol and the first couple of scenes of Rogue Nation? Is this something that Benji teaches himself during the 6 months that Ethan is gone, so that he knows that he can keep lying if he does find out where Ethan is? Like, I just want to know so much about that.
A level of like emotional control that we didn't see in Ghost Protocol. Obviously, he's literally matured in a very direct and very actionable way.
Yep. Like, this is not the kind of Benji who would, like, babble about how, like, he's just so excited to be on a mission with Ethan. Like,
Yeah.
So this is one thing that I think is really interesting. We do know, again, from I think one of the DVD commentaries, or one of the DVD extras, although I don't know which one, that Benji basically doesn't work a mission except with Ethan, which I love.
The Fallout DVDs or something come with dossiers for each of the characters that were like used as I think they were used as props. Mm-hmm. And basically Benji says that like after Ghost Protocol, he works every mission with Ethan. Ethan does not work with another tech. He works with Benji. And you can feel it.
Yeah.
The level of like
Ethan also looks really fucking good. I just have to say that.
I just love him look just like Benji. There's so much familiarity. Like I feel like the hero worship is completely gone.
Yep.
He's now like, he has to deal with Ethan Hunt on a regular basis. And he's like, okay, well, shit. I know this guy now. And he's a pain in my ass, and I love him. But he's a pain in my ass.
But also, I still very much have that crush on him that we talked about in the other commentaries. Benji,
but it's a completely different flavor, yeah.
Yes, it's like, it's no longer like hero worship, crush on someone I don't know. It's now like, this is basically one of my closest friends. I'm also very deeply in love with him.
It's the you like someone for their strengths, you love someone for their flaws thing. He's reached that point where he knows Ethan well enough to be like, unfortunately, yes, it is love. They are stuck with each other.
Oh god, I'm so weak for this movie.
Mm-hmm. Also, this entire sequence, like 10 out of fucking 10.
Yeah, it's very good. I love that, by the way. I'm pretty sure it's not how an automatic lockpick would work, but it's very cool.
It is very cool.
I also love all of the guns that are not guns in this sequence. It's very fun.
Every time we show someone the movie for the first time, I have to make sure they notice all 3 of the non-guns, because they're so fucking funny. They're so great. Benji, you're the best.
I know.
Literally.
I do really hope that, however, wherever he is, it's still loud enough that he gets to hear the opera at least. That's just my personal hope.
Mm-hmm. Because he was, that moment where he steps off the train and he's in a tux, he looks good, he's going to go to a fucking opera.
He's so excited.
I've changed my mind. We need to discuss, why the fuck did Ethan send 2 tickets?
Okay,
fanfic version or canon version? Yeah.
My theory for why canonically Ethan sent 2 tickets is because he was trying to appear as if he's one of those, like, sort of, like, oh, you won, blah, 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 sweepstakes, yeah.
Yeah,
and they always, when you win a sweepstakes, the
prize is always a trip for 2.
Yes. That's, like,
Beautiful
the cliche.
Mm-hmm. That's
my idea.
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
Do you have anything to add?
The fanfic version is just making sure Benji's hasn't started dating someone in the last 6 months before he whisks him away.
Also, this Ilsa is a fantastic dress on Ilsa. So good.
I love that, like, when she moves, you can see underneath that she's wearing, like, that black thing that's, like, skin tight and stuff, so it's also functional for what she's doing.
Yeah.
This whole sequence is so great. I'm glad that they managed to keep the whole thing. And weird gun number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you like? Do you like nightstick gun? Do you like flute gun? Or do you like Ilsa's gun?
I like flute gun the best. I think that's the coolest.
I think I like the nightstick gun because it comes so late in the sequence. It's very funny. It's like, oh my god, another one.
I actually have a friend who plays in an orchestra. They don't play the flute, but I've been sort of in the backstage of an orchestra before, and it feels very cool to think of, like, oh, one of these instruments is actually just a gun now. I think that's very funny.
I love the casualness of this. He's just going to grab onto a rope and climb down silently. Just...
Crazy.
You're great. Good job. You cannot shake Ethan. He will climb over things and just, like, he'll sequence break to get to you.
Mm-hmm. Very much like a cat. If you put obstacles in the way, he will get around them.
But no, you said that after prison he's a dog.
He still has a little bit of both.
Okay. Old sad dog, but also still likes to climb onto things.
Yeah, still a little bit of that very,
He wants to be tall. I feel mean for making fun of TC being short, but he does want to be tall. No, like, he's so willing at this point in his career to be like, yeah, I'm short. We're going to use it for laughs. It's great.
It is good. Oh, Ilsa. I love her.
She's so intense.
Yeah. And I love that at this point in the movie, you really have no idea what her motivations are.
Yeah.
And she plays it so well, where, like, you can absolutely believe that she is gonna kill somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, we have our known elements in Benji and Ethan, and she's just a complete black box. And she keeps twisting the narrative throughout the entire story. Like, every time we get an update from her and she's talking to Lane or she's talking to Ethan, then she goes back to Lane. Every time, she's not lying, but, like, it becomes more confusing until the clarity of the ending. It's really good.
Yeah, and I think
whoever wrote this was really good.
I think that actually ties into something that McHugh talked about, which is, he said that in the early screenings, I think it was of Fallout, they realized that no matter how clear they were about things like the mousetrap scene or other stuff that happens in Fallout, where it's like they're sort of, you know, it's not 100% clear what's happening, what they found was that no matter how clear they tried to make it, until Ethan told them what was happening, nobody trusted it. No, none of the audiences trusted that what they thought was happening was actually happening until Ethan said it, because otherwise it's all up for debate. It's all still confusing. It's still like something could be changing. I think that's very cool. And I think Ilsa plays into that here. I think Ilsa is very much that, like, element where, like, I have no idea what is true or not. I want Ethan to just tell me what the fuck's going on.
She is, like, I almost said mystery box. This is not a mystery box movie, but, like, she is the puzzle that needs to be solved in this movie, and it's basically just about Benji and Ethan trying to figure out who the fuck Ilsa is. That is the central mystery, much more than who the fuck Solomon Lane is.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of TC being short, such a fucking good bit. How he just keeps standing. It's so good. Lane, you creepy fuck.
Yeah, he is a creepy fuck. Also, I never noticed he is actually in the audience. In that cutaway just now, he is actually in the audience.
Yeah. If Benji did not have to go and, like, run to that lighting booth, he probably would have eventually found Lane.
That's insane.
Yep.
I'd always wondered about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just too much stuff happens that it, like, distracts him away from what he was doing.
And that's Lane's entire MO with this whole sequence, is he just has backup plan on backup plan on backup plan on backup plan, so that no matter how good Ethan is at foiling his plans, he still wins because he has one more layer to the plan, you know?
He's literally the guy who sent 3 assassins to kill one guy.
Uh-huh.
Like,
actually, 3 assassins plus a backup plan.
Yes, you're right. You're right. The car bomb. He had 4 plans to do this. Ugh, Ethan. I love tired Ethan.
I know. I love him being tired.
He's been doing this for 6 months.
Yes, that is one of the things that I think is very unique and interesting about Oldathan for me is he's so tired. And it's very different than, like, it doesn't feel like that sort of character where you expect the main character in an action movie to be, like, the sort of, like, teenage boys stand-in. Like, oh, I'm being so cool. I just get all the girls. I'm the best.
The
this
power
is
fantasy,
like,
yeah.
yes. Whereas, like, this Ethan is just like, oh my god, I'm so fucking tired. Can I just go rest? Like, can I just retire with my husband now? Except he would never retire. But, like, he's very much just like, I'm so tired of everything that I'm doing. I'm not having fun. This is not cool and interesting. I'm just really done.
Yeah. It's not, and it's also, like, not, it's played for a couple of laughs, like, but it's not, like, it's not a joke.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's tired is not the joke. He's genuinely, like, going through it, and he has been going through it for so long that you just want him to be able to rest. And yet, here we are, running around a fucking opera, being thrown around the catwalks, trying to figure out how the fuck to get out of this situation with one bullet. Mm-hmm. What do you do, man?
I love his way out of this, too. I love that he basically goes, well, I can't shoot both of them, so I'll shoot their target. I think that's so fucking good.
I love when he takes the third option. I love it.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking good moment.
Mm-hmm. Also, does this guy meant to look like a Terminator? Because he so looks like a fucking Terminator.
Right? He just looks like a Terminator the entire time.
It's particularly the glasses make him look like a Terminator.
And the fucking cheekbones.
Yeah, that too.
Benji. Oh, this fight. Where's the throw? The horrible throw that makes me gasp every time. Oh, God. Just throwing Peg around like a doll.
Yep.
I love that moment. Because he sees it as, like, someone's about to shoot him, but also this is the first time that they meet eyes, and the first time Ilsa lays eyes on him. And guess what, Ilsa? You are now going to work to keep Benji alive. You have locked eyes with Benji done. He is now your responsibility, too. Welcome to the party.
It's so fascinating. It's almost like it's the key to Ethan's lock, right? It's like Ethan imprints on everybody, and Benji gets everybody to imprint on him.
Oh my god. Yeah. I know I said he was something of blood. Was he rogue of blood?
No, I thought he was
Page
of blood, I think so.
Yes. Yes. He is powered by people's relationships with him. Like, his superpower is not being smart. Wait, okay, we need to look for where he gets his glove.
Okay, yes, please do point this out to me.
Where is it? I'm watching carefully. Yeah, Benji's power is not, like, being good at computers or anything. That he's not even the best computer guy on the team, really. His power is, like, making people care.
Okay, he's putting on his glove. No,
that was his tie!
This is the thing. It's not a glove.
That was his tie!
Uh-huh.
I understand it. TC, I get it. Thank you. God.
Yeah. I also love that. That should be more of a character moment for Ilsa in more fics. I feel like it should be a thing that Ilsa sort of doesn't like shoes. Like, she likes the way they look, but she's also just like, whenever things get serious or whenever she wants to, like, calm down or just anything, she's like, holy shit, get me out of these fucking shoes.
Yes.
I think that should be a thing.
I love his scared face. He's like, ah, shit.
It's like, well, gotta do it anyway.
Yep, it'll probably be fine. It's only 3 stories if we fuck it up.
What was it that TC apparently said when they did the Burj Khalifa? Like, oh, well, if I fall from 3 stories, it's the same thing as if I fall from 140. Like, I'm dead either way.
I love them. They're so cute as they're walking away and trying to be casual.
Yep.
Fucking Solomon Lane.
Uh-huh.
I can't believe it wasn't actually a glove. He used his tie. That's so smart. That's so utilitarian.
Mm-hmm. I love
I
it.
love when he's efficient.
Also, this is a moment where Benji's driving, even though we remarked in Fallout about how Ethan is probably very particular about being the one to drive, generally speaking.
Benji is allowed to drive motorboats. I guess every once in a while he can sometimes drive the car.
If Ethan is very busy with other things.
Yes.
Also, again, we're going to talk about this more in MI1, but I love how deeply unsexualized this moment is. It is like he is searching her and finding a lot of stuff in an outfit that doesn't have very many pockets. But it's never creepy. It's never like, ooh, what am I going to find? It's always just like utilitarian, to the point. He's trying to get information from her. I love that.
Yes. And also another instance of somebody having lipstick that is not actually lipstick. Nobody in this series actually wears lipstick.
Mm-hmm. Which is true. It doesn't look like she's wearing lipstick.
She's so compelling. I love it.
I do love that. I love that about Benji, that Benji is not as much of a bleeding heart as Ethan is.
Yeah.
Like, Benji still cares a lot about people, but
there's a hard limit.
Yeah, he's still basically pragmatic. He does not have the same flaw that Ethan does. He will absolutely, I think, be down to killing someone if they deserve it and it makes sense.
Yeah, the thing with Ethan is that he's killed fewer people than you'd think, and with Benji, he's killed more people than you would assume. 100%.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Alec Baldwin.
These commentaries are actually just Arc's extended hate campaign against J.J. Abrams and Alec Baldwin.
He just shows up and plays himself, and I'm sick of it. Play a character, for God's sake. I love them both stepping out of the shadows.
It's so good. It's so good. That is the closest thing. That is the closest thing to a Bond moment, I feel like, is them both stepping out of the shadows in their tuxes.
Yeah. I love the constant mirroring of the way that the blocking and the cinematography makes it clear, like, these two are going to be together for the rest of the movie. They are a team. No matter what Ethan wants.
I also love this. I love how janky this is. I love the fact that it's clearly Ethan is working with subpar materials because it's all he has.
Yeah, McHugh talked about this in the documentary. That's like,
okay,
not the documentary, the commentary. That he wanted to make it clear that Ethan is off the grid. He can't actually use like official resources. So anything that he does use has to be obviously run down and like off that grid, so he won't be detected.
Yeah.
Move map. There it is.
Oh yeah.
Simon Pegg, you have such a good face.
He does.
Congratulations on your face.
They both have such good faces.
The lighting is so good on him in this scene, though. The way just a little bit of flecks of light catches eyes while Ethan is in further shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it metaphorically, like, you know, Benji is stepping further into shadow to follow Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
Following him into the unknown, because, for God's sake, you've been alone for 6 months, and obviously it ain't going that well, Chief.
Yeah. The Terminator.
Yeah. Cheekbones.
Wait, was he the giant guy? He doesn't look anything like the giant guy.
He was the giant guy, yeah.
He looks very small in that photo.
I don't want to be, like, critical, Ethan, but it doesn't seem like you've been doing a very good job.
Also, shout out to the fact that there is it's very short. It's only like 8 pages, but there is a canonical story by McQuarrie comic set in the 6 months that Ethan is gone in this movie, the 6 months of living dangerously, that follows him basically just barely missing Lane at each of these locations. I just think it's really cool.
I need to sit down and actually read it. It's been saved on my phone for literally like a month now.
It's only 8 pages. It's so fast, but it's really fun.
You said the name of the movie, Punct. Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate that McQuarrie does that. I do appreciate it because it never feels overdone, and I'm actually really, really excited to see when the Dead Reckoning line comes in this new movie. It's going to be good.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Come on, Benji. Don't do that, man. He's dealt with some people trying to downplay his hunches before. Don't do that, man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It is part of Ethan's unfortunate damage.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. That fucking...
Yeah. I love how he looks almost like he's about to tear up in that last shot because it feels so reasonable because it's like, yeah, actually, when you get really mad and really like emotional about something, sometimes you fucking tear up. And I don't know. I love that so fucking much.
I also love that right as Ethan's turning away, he smiles just a little bit. He's like, okay, all right.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I also really appreciate the fact that, what was I going to say? It's like the dynamic of like Benji having lied about this relationship for so long and then finally getting to tell the truth.
Yeah. And
the fact that he's also like, no, I refuse to be separated from you, you know? Like, I refuse to give up on you.
Yeah.
And it's, again, we're going to talk about it more in MI1, but it's the opposite of the way Claire situates herself as on Ethan's side in order to manipulate him. In this movie, Benji is on his side just because that's what he is. He is
genuinely interested in helping Ethan.
Yes, and they care about each other, and that's just how it goes.
And also, like, as we're talking about Benji's, like, growing character arc, like, the fact that, like, he was willing to just fucking tell Ethan he's being an asshole and tell him to fucking stand down is so good. It's so great. It's like, you're being a dick, let me fucking help you. What's this fucking machismo for? Mm-hmm. And it works.
Yep, it works.
Also, Sean Harris is fucking great.
Yeah. This is such a good fucking scene. This shot. Oh my god, it's so good.
I love when she throws the thing and it makes so much fucking noise.
Yeah.
It's... Everything about this scene is good. I'm sorry for talking over because we were still talking about Benji, but their chemistry as, like, people who can barely stand each other, but who are working together.
It's so good.
Well, at least he says please. He's very polite.
Before he gets into his full petty bitch mode in Fallout. Although I suppose Walker is still the bitchier one, considering he does actually, just curse at Ethan. I think even at his pettiest bitch, Lane does not curse at Ethan.
Yes.
Or Benji, or Ilsa.
Yes, because he's basic politeness.
I guess so. But wait, there was something else that I wanted to say about Ethan and that scene where Benji sort of says, hey, you're being an asshole. It's something about, like, oh, it's so interesting to see Ethan say that line, like, I can't protect you, and to understand how different that is from when in Fallout, he's so confident. He's like, I'll figure it out. Like, there's nothing that's going to happen to you. And it's so fascinating to try and unpack that, because this movie, I guess, in some ways proves to Ethan that he can do it. Is like, even in that moment where Benji, the one who's in some ways most important to him, is threatened, Ethan finds a way. And so that gives him the confidence that in Fallout is completely betrayed.
Yes. Yeah, which is why there is only one real problem with Fallout, and it's the lack of acknowledgement of what happened with Benji from Ethan. Because we're wrapping up the movie, and it was already such a fucking long movie, but still. I'm shaking my finger at McHugh. This is my one note for you.
Yep. Another wonderful Ace moment here. He does not look at her in any sort of lascivious way when she's in her bikini. I love it.
Yeah. And while the camera does look at her and she's like, oh, she's in a bikini, it doesn't do the Bond slow-mo pan thing.
Yep.
So I'm okay with it, honestly.
Yep.
The fucking Wonder Team. It's the best possible B team to a movie is these two.
They're so good together. I love how they're this odd couple. They're another thing where, I don't necessarily ship them, but I'm surprised that there aren't more people at least interested in that dynamic, because it's so interesting. It's so funny. They're so good playing off each other.
Yeah. I really tend to like, Luther as the elder statesman of the IMF, who just puts everybody else in their place. I love his role. I love that he's not they were going to set him up to be
too.
Yes, because he's good with people. He's running interference for all of his fucking friends, and I'm pretty sure none of them appreciate that because his job is hard, but it's also a quiet one.
Yeah,
and he doesn't get shot at as much. Brant, you do good work. Yeah. Sorry that nobody appreciates you. I fucking love Luther is the silver bullet. When you absolutely need something done, you call Luther.
Wait, so did she just say Solomon's name?
Yes.
It's such a nothing point. It's so... Like you're saying, the real mystery is not who is running the syndicate, because we see him from the very beginning. His name being revealed means nothing, because that name doesn't mean anything to us. What really matters is Ilsa and her intentions and which side she's on and how to get her out of the situation. And it's so interesting.
Yeah. She is the connective tissue that makes the whole movie work. Yeah, it is all about navigating her. Because no matter what, Ethan and Solomon are going to collide at some point. That is inevitable ever since he shot the poor girl in the record shop. Booty.
Really, I was noticing Simon Pegg's outfit and how I like the clashing colors.
It's really good.
Also the shoes! I also like the shoes. Wow, look at those shoes! Those are nice.
It's impossible. We do that. We know those. I actually have a friend who works at a real skiff for the US government. They are very fucking locked down. They can't even bring in their phone. To even listen to music, they had to get a very special device that doesn't have Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or anything. They're particular. Yeah.
I love the long game of Benji wearing a mask.
when he eventually does, it works perfectly.
It does. I love that. And he's so happy. And he looks for Ethan's approval, and Ethan's like, I never doubted you for a moment. It's so good. I love that like double take, because you can see us breaking out of Benji's sort of fantasy. I love that.
Yeah. Fucking gate analysis. I hate this. This is so stupid, but I love it. Like, what happens on the days when my bad knee is acting up? Do I just not go to the skiff? Do I have to get a doctor's note that says, please do not put me through the gate analysis?
I assume that they've collected so much data on you that they have a robust model for your gait, even when you have bad knee days.
Mm-hmm. Also, literally more of the mirroring of Ethan and Benji.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Now that I'm looking for it, it keeps happening. McQuarrie fucking hates TC for this one.
Why do you say it like that?
He didn't want it to be an underwater sequence. It wasn't
Really?
intended to be an auto... Do you not know this one?
No, I don't know this. I haven't listened to this commentary.
God. So, fuck. Okay. No, I know this from, like, not the commentary, but, like, basically, like, they were doing, like, previs for a lot of these sequences, and they were working on the Taurus, because it was a cool, like, thing that they wanted to work on. And TC leans over and is like, oh, cool, we're doing an underwater sequence. And McHugh's like, what are you talking about? And then suddenly they were doing an underwater sequence because TC thought that it was going to be one, and then they just rolled with it.
Oh my god, I love that. That power is so wonderful, and I'm glad that he uses it for good/evil.
Just making McHugh's life hard. Because McHugh brought up the fact that, like, the filming the Edge of Tomorrow water sequences was such a fucking pain in the ass, and it was really, really, really difficult. Mm-hmm. So the fact that TC gave them more is like...
Also, I just want to appreciate, I love Ethan's outfit right now. The dark purple, the dark blue.
Amazing.
So good.
Yes. Fully agree. This is one of his best outfits. The colors are extremely good to him. It's nice when Ethan looks good.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often. It's so hard to get him to stop wearing black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've probably said this already, but I love that, like, Benji can do tech, and Benji is the go-to, like, technically minded, like, field agent, but Luther is genuinely the best at tech. Mm-hmm. He blows Benji out of the water.
I also love that Luther knows Ethan so well that he can tell based on the sketches that, like, Ethan's opinion of Ilsa. He can tell that Ethan is looking for Ilsa just based on how he sketched her, and I love that, like, moment of, like, how long will it take? I've got it.
Yeah.
I love Luther so much.
He's just that good.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. I was just fawning over Luther. Yeah, because I really like that. You know, sometimes everyone's like, "Oh, either Benji or Luther should be like killed off because why do you have two tech guys?" It's because they have completely different skill sets, and the reason why Ethan would call one of them is very different from why he would call the other.
Yeah, I think of, like, even as early as Ghost Protocol, when Benji is still pretty much just a tech guy, I think of Benji as being very much, like, the hardware guy, or, like, the devices guy, or, like, the gadgets guy, whereas Luther, to me, is, like, I can hack fucking anything. Like, give me any computer system, any software, and I own it.
Yeah. Software versus hardware is actually a good delineation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, Luther should be the one in the van. Which sucks for Benji, because he got to be in the van for, like, 5 minutes, and then, like, he was promoted to field agent, and now He's, without... Benji is 90% of Ethan's impulse control. He needs him. So, pop quiz, how long can Tom Cruise hold his breath?
I don't remember if it's 5 minutes or 6 minutes.
It is 6 or 7.
Jesus fucking Christ.
While he was trained to do this, he would purposely overexert himself to see what it felt like to pass out, so he would know if he was in danger. So stressful. I do love these fancy oximeters.
I do also enjoy the implication that somehow this technology doesn't use any metal.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting to me.
This entire fucking sequence is so batshit.
It's so good. I love how Ethan is so worried, and I love that's so acting, because, again, TC can hold his breath for like 7 minutes.
Yeah, if only it was just 3 minutes, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. His watch. It's a nice watch.
It is a nice watch, but it does also have a timer on it, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
It's very throwback to Ethan's...
constant use of stopwatches.
Yes.
Just straight into hell.
Yep. What is the etymology of Taurus, by the way?
Let me find out. I mean, Greek.
Right. It makes me wonder whether it's from Greek myth or not.
Taurus.
I do like this little automatic
The safe picker. It's so
the
good.
safe picker. It's very good.
It's from Latin, actually. A round
Really?
molding. Mm-hmm.
Huh, okay. I like these two characters too. The ones in the I don't know, I like them. They're cool.
Mm-hmm. They have good hair.
They do have good hair. They're very handsome boys.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so you asked me about Ethan's hair in this. Do you dislike Ethan's hair? What's your opinion on the hair in Rogue Nation?
Thought specifically in those early scenes where he is doing his shirtless thing and he's running away and stuff like that. I thought he did look very boy band, but not a good era of boy band. But otherwise, I think he looks fine. It was just those couple of scenes that were not good for me.
When I think of Ethan's hair in this movie, I immediately remember the sequence in like the restaurant that they chill out at after Ethan wrecks the motorcycle. His hair looks incredibly good in that scene.
Okay, I'll pay attention.
But also, he's very tired.
He is so tired.
Oh, jeez.
I love how that's sort of a throwback to the train car in Ghost Protocol.
You just gotta have one more person with you to watch out.
Yeah. You've just gotta have the tech getting in your fucking way sometimes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Every fucking time. I like that it's not actually a silent sequence. It has his heartbeat, and it's so stressful.
Yeah.
And Benji already knows that he has less than a minute left.
Yeah. And I also really... I talk about this in one of the metas that I've posted about Ethan as an heir of light, and how Ethan fundamentally is... like, there's so much discussion and there's so much reference in the dialogue to Ethan is being lucky, Ethan is being a gambler, Ethan is all these things. And I think it's really interesting because in some ways it's very true, and in some ways there are these ways in which, like in this moment, it's pure luck that he puts the right gait analysis profile into the box. But at the same time, there's never any doubt of it, because Ethan is fundamentally, he's Ethan. He is the impossible. He is the impossible man. He is the one who, like, can do anything because the narrative demands it. And so it's not really false confidence.
Can we talk about the devil's bargain side of it, though, which is horrendous? Is like, so we say that he's an heir of light, meaning that, like, he is somebody who is being played by the narrative. It's not so much that he is driving the story, is that the story is driving him. He's just chained to the comet. So when he gets into these ludicrous situations, there's a level of, like, he is going to succeed, but he has to keep going until he reaches that point where he succeeds. It is this deal that he makes with victory, that, like, you can win this, but you have to keep going until you get to the point where the story is satisfied, and then you can win this. And it is often an extremely grueling thing. It feels like he's fighting against fate itself. Yeah, because he knows that if he just keeps going, he'll get there, and he'll get the victory that he wants. But my God, the fucking journey sucks.
Yeah. And I suspect that's going to be even more pertinent in Dead Reckoning than it was in Fallout, which it was already very pertinent in Fallout.
Yeah. Yeah. Fallout, just the extended nightmare of being Ethan Hunt and not being able to stop. Which is why I just fixate on the moment when he's talking to the team from the helicopter. He's like, I won't let you down, I won't let you down. Because he sounds so desperate for this to just be over with.
Yeah, and he knows that he can't go back, he just has to keep going forward.
Yeah. Yay, Benji! You didn't get shot! Unfortunately, your boyfriend died.
Yeah, that's okay.
Again.
That's better.
He gets better. Though, man, can we just point out again, because we talked about this briefly in MI3, but, like, when Ethan dies in MI3 and he gets brought back, he immediately grabs the gun, he scans the room, he's on it. He is on the fucking ball. And then we get this one.
Yes. I'm so curious what made McHugh go for this thing. I mean, obviously McHugh does really appreciate humor, but I wonder why he decided to go for this angle. Is it just because he had to have a reason that Ethan didn't immediately catch on to the fact that Ilsa was going to betray them? Like, I love the fact that it's like, Ethan is...
And also the way Benji immediately is like, shit.
Yeah. It's like, Ethan is, like what I was saying earlier about how the comedic relief very rarely gets to be competent. This is sort of the opposite thing. It's like, the super competent, like, central character very rarely gets to be shown being sort of silly or dumb. And so I like this moment because it's like, oh...
It's so rare for Benji to be the straight man in a joke. Also, this is so fucking tender. And also Benji's moment of like, hey, I misjudged you, hurts so much. Yeah. Because she's about to fuck him.
And you can see it hurt her, too.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I'm about to zap you and knock your ass out? Awkward. Oh, this line.
You're gonna take it too far.
It's the point that you brought up in Fallout that, like, Benji will hold a grudge on Ethan's behalf. He just, even when Ethan will not take care of himself, Benji just wants to be the person to do that and to convince Ethan to take care of himself. It sucks.
Yeah. Oh, good. I love this scene.
It's very good. Their chemistry is so fun.
It's so fun.
And also the, later on when they're doing the 3-point turn in the fucking, 4x4, or whatever the fuck it's called, the sass from Brant is all Jeremy Renner improving.
Really? Do you know that?
Yes.
Did they say that in the commentary? That's so good.
Yes, they did. Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
apparently
I love
he does
that.
a lot of very good improv. He's a very improv-minded person.
That's so good.
I love Ethan's shirt.
Yes, these outfits are generally just so good. I want to have more insight into
Why the
how
fuck?
how their outfits mid-mission get chosen. Also, I love the implication that it took them so long to get on those vacation clothes that she could put on a whole, like, jumpsuit. Like, what the fuck?
She's so cool. And
She's
yes,
very
I think she's better at motorcycles than Ethan canonically, even if he's more reckless on them.
Yeah.
She's an actually better motorcyclist.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the fucking funniest moment in any mission movie. Thank you, TC. Mostly improv, because you know the story of this one, right?
Tell
Where
me.
the script said, you know, they get in the car, and TC's like, no, we're not going to just get in the car. And then he thought about it for a moment. He was like, okay, just roll. I know what I'm going to do. And then he did that, and everyone was like, the fuck? Because they're like, what just happened?
That's incredible.
So he invented the moment, and I okay, it God, poor Peg. This moment at the end when they land and Peg gives him the dirtiest fucking look, and that's completely real. It's so funny.
Also, I know this from I know this from one of the interviews. Apparently, when they were filming this, obviously, Peg said that he would be in the car for real, even though, because he trusts Tom Cruise that much. He trusts that he's a good enough driver, and he didn't care about, like, being hurt at all. He didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I know from an interview that Tom Cruise sort of played, like, a very light prank on Peg, which is, while they were filming this, he kept turning on Peg's seat heater, even though, of course, this is fucking hot as hell.
I would kill the man. I would kill him.
And, no, Peg got back at him, because Peg then borrowed a piece of electrical tape from one of the techs, covered the little light on TC's seat that shows that the heater is on, and then turned his heater on. And so TC was, like, driving, and he would glance down, he's like, no, my seat heater's not on. But it's because the light was covered. And when he finally figured it out, he was like, oh, okay, that's fair. You did it. You win. And Peg's like, yeah, I never win, so I really appreciated that.
Oh, fuck. Also, not to rewind, but going back to the diving over the car for the comedy bit, I'm a big believer in expediency of writing, that, like, you can have indulgent moments in a story, and they're very good for levity to let the audience breathe. But on some level, when I am looking to cut down on, like, a thing that I am writing, the first thing I do is I look for what scenes do I have that aren't actually conveying anything. So on, like, just, like, a pure technical level, I appreciate TC is like, no, I'm not going to just get into the car. I'm going to turn this into a character moment. And that just makes me very happy. It's like, I literally, like, that is the thing that I do as well. And I think it's, like, kind of like an intermediate level, like writing thing. So it makes me smile. It's like, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
You can't just get into the car. He's not just being, like, weird. You can't just get into the car, because that's a wasted moment. It's good.
I love that Ethan literally just put his seatbelt on as he was driving backwards.
Yeah. He only ends up putting it on when he's about to need it, like when he's about to drive a car off of a fucking...
Which is insane, Ethan. When you drive like that, you should always be wearing your seatbelt.
He learns by fallout to do it.
That's true.
When he's driving a helicopter.
This is also a very good comedic moment.
Yeah, it is such an obvious setup, but it makes me happy.
I didn't see it coming. When I first watched this, I was like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen, oh shit, shit. Oh yeah, baby!
The cavalry!
Brand is so funny.
Also, can we appreciate how fucking good Brant's jacket is?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that as well.
His outfit is very good. That popped collar, usually people look like a douchebag with a pop collar, and to be fair, Brant does, but it's still a good look. I think I referenced this in a fic, but like every time you leave Ethan alone in the vicinity of a motorcycle and you take your eyes off him, there's at least a chance you're about to lose him.
Yeah,
you can't turn your back on him.
TC is basically, like, incapable of not stealing motorcycles.
Yeah.
TC, no, Ethan. Ethan is incapable of not stealing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure TC pays for his many motorcycles.
Yeah,
I'm guessing
definitely.
he has at least 12.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. His body probably only feels good when he is on a motorcycle. He's been on them so much.
I like how much... Like, this is a very fun motorcycle because he's all squished onto it. I think that's very fun. Mm-hmm. I think it's very fun how he's, like, doubled up.
Yeah. Because this is all about speed. This is going 100 miles an hour. No big deal. Without a fucking helmet.
Yeah, do you have any details about how this was filmed or the stunt or anything like that to tell us?
Just that it is genuinely him doing all of this, going 100 miles a fucking hour.
And he does actually do the turns, and he is actually not wearing any protective clothing whatsoever.
Yeah, which is why this moment coming up where he puts down his knee and it actually scrapes the ground, he did it purposely multiple times, and it drives me fucking crazy. It's like, my guy, you need your knees for walking. You need your knees for running, more importantly.
Yeah, more importantly for him.
Yeah. So please stop doing this bullshit. It's still not as stressful as... Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's not as stressful as the Arc de Triomphe. That one is still the worst.
Yep.
Because at least this one, I know that they were on a track for quite a while, and he at least knew what he was doing.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Single line, my guy. You can't go. You gotta wait until the dotted line.
Can you imagine Ethan Hunt obeying traffic laws?
Do you okay, when he is not on a mission, do you think Ethan Hunt is a good legal driver?
Oh, that's such a good question.
Because I've seen both in fanfic.
Yeah.
Oh, that role.
I think Oldathan probably is. I think Twinkathan is probably a terrible driver.
I fully agree. I think you just don't want him behind a wheel.
Yeah.
Except for that one really weird moment in, like, MI2 where it's like, could you slow down? And I was like, excuse me, who the fuck are you telling somebody to slow down?
Yeah.
This is my favorite look for him in this movie. He looks like just trash.
Oh, this is the very good haircut moment you said, right?
I think the mix of how tired he looks and how beat up he looks and how he speaks to Benji, just everything just comes together. It's like,
yeah. There
10
is,
out of 10.
I am definitely, and have been since 2009 and seeing a Star Trek movie, I have always been a fan of pretty boys all bloodied up. This is a
good one for that.
Yeah.
This one's a very good one. Oh, he looks so tired. What the fuck, Brand?
And he somehow doesn't look like an asshole doing it. It's
just so instinctive.
Yeah.
He doesn't even think about it. He's just like, I'm going to turn this chair around the other way. Don't you just want to reach out and just, like, ruffle his hair?
Mm-hmm.
He's so tired.
Oh, God, look at him. His eyes are so soft. Yeah. He just looks so in love with Ethan in that moment. It is insane to me.
Yes. This is just the movie of Ethan and Benji being, like, partners.
Yeah.
This is their movie.
Mm-hmm. And then Ilsa is obviously their third, because as we'll talk about more in MI1, Ethan is all about threesomes.
Mm-hmm. fucking Atlee.
I love that it's actually interesting. I haven't thought about this before, but it's not just CIA that's an asshole. It's literally just like intelligence communities globally fucking suck.
It's almost like Lane has a point. Like, I keep saying this, but like, Lane's methods are horseshit, and he's a bad guy, and he's a petty bitch. Yeah. But his stated reasoning for why he's created the syndicate is correct.
Yeah.
All these organizations fucking suck, and they treat their people like garbage.
Yeah. It's just the solution to that is not killing a whole bunch of civilians.
Yeah, no. I don't think that's the best way of doing it, actually. Her hair is extremely good in this scene.
God, it's so awful.
Awful.
He is this movie's Kittredge.
Yeah. He's also, like, the mission statement of the movie. He's, like, stating, like, he says all the quiet parts out loud.
Mm-hmm. And this is also, if we're thinking about Ilsa being the mystery of the movie, this is the moment where it's all revealed and where you understand Ilsa, you understand her motivations, you understand the bind she's in, and you realize, oh yeah, we have always been on Ilsa's side.
Yeah. Especially when she does this thing right here. That bring me in is so quiet and so desperate. She just...
Oh, this is such a shithole thing to do. As far as the Americans are concerned, you're a rogue assassin. It'd be unfortunate if you forgot. Oh, it's so evil!
Like, her face is just crushed.
Yeah.
These people will never, ever give her what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no wonder she just wants to fucking run.
And the fact that we know from the end of the movie, he's not just fucking her over, he's doubly fucking her over. He's fucking her over to her face, and he's basically setting her up to get killed.
Yes. Yeah, you get DVDs out of it. I love, like, even just this positioning of the two of them is a microcosm of, like, the hierarchy. Like, Luther is the one at the computer while Benji is hunched over watching what he does. Like, yeah. Luther is senior. He has seniority over everybody.
Yeah, I do love Luther's outfit in this one as well.
Yes.
He looks so good in that, like... Mm-hmm. He looks just so comfy. I love that for him.
And also, I love that he has, like, a permanent, like, diamond earring. Mm-hmm. It's in everyone.
I love that, too.
It's just a nice little bit of flair he always has.
Yeah.
Here we go. Same fucking argument that you boys had in Ghost Protocol.
And I love that we know that the argument does end differently, but we don't get to see it. And obviously we don't get to see it from the point of view of that's what keeps the stakes up. But I like the idea that it's sort of like the thing that goes unsaid in Fallout, which is like they convince Hunley to give them a chance. In this same sense, we don't see it, but we know that Ethan has this amazing ability to convince people to trust him. And it's like, it's not surface level. It's not, I trust you to get me out of this, or I trust you to figure out a way. It's like, I trust you to be a good person who can fix everything. And that's such a heavy weight for Ethan to hold.
Yeah. It also reminds me of the when we were talking about, like, he picked out Benji, and it's like, now you're the gifted kid. Because he imbues that with the people around him, unfortunately. which makes them better at what they do, but also it's like now you're sharing the weight that he carries. It's like, congratulations, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Her outfit's also great. I love the pleating of the jacket in the back.
Yeah.
It's very good. Vinter, why do you gotta make everything weird?
He is very creepy little man. Big
He's
man,
so
I guess.
Good. I'm glad that they're like they decided that to keep him alive past the first scene because he was so good, and they were right. He is very
I
good.
didn't know that. I didn't know that he was
What?
intended to die in the first scene.
Oh my god, yeah, he was supposed to die off in his first scene, but TC and McHugh liked him so much that they just didn't kill him, and they cast him as the doorman in the scene between Lane and Ilsa in the hotel.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, okay, I guess we can't kill you off because that would be a continuity error, so you're gonna have to hang around. And then
That's
they kept putting him in scenes. Sometimes they just like people.
Yeah, they do. Sort of like Ethan, just latches on to people.
Oh, he's so good. I loved him in this scene. Because this is like the scene where you're like, he's laying out like what he considers like the truth about himself. About human, he's the human nature guy. He's like, oh, I understand human nature. Here, let me lay out like why I'm so good at what I do. Blah de blah. Here's all my highfalutin ideas and shit. And then he finds a way to hurt Ethan and takes it and turns into a petty bastard.
Mm-hmm.
I love that both are happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like he does have a point, but also I don't know. I said it in the Fallout, but something about how Ethan makes everyone around him more human in a way that's not always good, because sometimes it means that it. Oh, that's so fucking creepy. Oh.
You're so fucking good at this.
Yeah,
Sean Harris.
So
no wonder they didn't kill him off. You're so great, Sean Harris. Yeah. He basically like the way that he gets the way he fucking screws over Solomon Lane in the end is playing into that pettiness. And it is a human trait.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see Benji like walking up behind there. That's cute.
He was at the last shot too. You can see his red jacket.
Gosh, I guess I have another reason to watch this again.
Besides just that it's wonderful.
I love his little wave.
I love it too.
I like his mean little smile. It's like, hi, you shocked me. I remember that. Team's all here. Also, this is going to drive you crazy. At the end of this, when Ilsa does her vanishing thing while Luther's trying to get to her, McHugh swears that that's practical.
Seriously?
He swears that it's practical. Yes, that she actually just, like, vanished at the perfect time when the camera's closing in.
That's insane.
I can't... every time I watch it, I try to understand it. They say it's practical.
I'll have to look for that. Yeah, that's...
Bonkers.
Wild. Yeah.
Because I have always assumed from every moment that I saw that, like, yeah, they just, like, cut there.
I love that Ilsa can't hear the other side of the conversation, but she's also intuiting what they're saying. And just from Ethan's question, she can figure out. I don't know. I just love when characters are fucking smart. I love when characters are smart.
Yeah. And, like, a writer-director perhaps lets them be smart. He's so nice. I love when we have to start thinking of the dominoes of what Lane wants from a situation, and every time they bring it up, it's just like your eyes kind of roll into the back of your head. Like, oh, I don't want to listen to you guys verbally play like 5-dimensional chess.
Yeah, I don't know how many people know about TV tropes nowadays. Like, I feel like it was just common and now it's sort of not. And I don't even know if TV tropes is really any good anymore. But I always think of Batman's Gambit. That is Lane. And it's actually
I think of Xanatos Speed Chess.
Okay.
Similar ones.
But it's, in either way, it's what Hunley attributes to Ethan. But as we've discussed, it's not actually what Ethan does. Ethan plans in the short term and is excellent at improv. Whereas, like, Lane is the one with 4 fucking backup plans.
Yes.
And it's fascinating because, again, the only reason Ethan's method works, the sort of like on a meta level, I think the only reason Ethan's works against Lane is because he has the power of the narrative.
Yeah. This scene always fascinates me. Mm-hmm. His complete non-reaction to her offer always fascinates me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he even considers it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it tells him something about her.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not going to consider running away.
No. And it's not, well, maybe it's partially that, but it's not for the petty bitch reasons like Lane. It's not because, which people accuse him of, it's not because he has this sort of like obsession with Lane. It's because Ethan fundamentally can't stop. Ethan is always fundamentally, like, driven by his own, like, insane urge to save everybody.
Yeah, there's always going to be somebody else. Okay, let's watch. Let's lean in and closely and watch.
Oh, I think I saw it.
Okay. Alright. Maybe McHugh was telling the truth. And alright, now we get to my favorite part of the movie where Ethan loses Benji and immediately loses 90% of his impulse control.
Mm-hmm. It's so good.
I like how just absolutely fucking unhinged he becomes. Oh, for God's sake. Fucking Lane.
I love Lane's voice. It's so good. I've never heard any interviews with Sean Harris. Does he sound like that naturally, or is it a voice he puts on for Lane?
I have no idea.
Be interesting.
Fucking Steve Jobs ass outfit.
It's a very good point.
Every time I'm like, why are you cosplaying Steve Jobs? The glasses and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yep. I love Brand so much. He's like, can we literally talk about this? And he's like, no, I need my Benji back.
Yeah, he literally just, can we talk about this for 1 single minute? And Ethan is like, how dare you tell me to slow down when I need to be saving Benji right this second?
Yeah. I have until midnight to save Benji. You don't understand.
And also, we have to mention it. I love how this is, in some ways, a mirror to MI3, right? In MI3, Ethan loses the person who's most important to him. He has a very set timeline for being able to get them back, and he loses it. But it's so interesting seeing how differently Ethan works, as, like, how his brain works with, like, a decade in between. It's fascinating.
And also just straight up that, like, we just took, like, the male quote-unquote best friend character and made him the damsel in distress and are playing it completely fucking straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That this is our hero at the lowest point because he's just lost his Benji. And my God, we're going to do some shit to get Benji back.
Yeah.
Yep. because Benji is the heart and soul of the series, and Ethan needs him.
Yeah. And McHugh has literally said that. McHugh has said Benji Dunn, or Peg as Benji Dunn, is the heart and soul of Mission Impossible, or something like that.
Yes. Please
So
do not
good.
kill him in Dead Reckoning. Please, McHugh, please, please, please. Or do. As long as Ethan cries. I better get some fucking tears. And then have him come back and save Ethan's ass in part 2. That's fine.
Yeah. I love how Ethan is actually sort of falling apart here. You can see it in his eyes.
Yeah. Like, he's not doing anything. He has a plan. What the fuck? What is that? Every fucking time it throws me that Vinter does that little thing. There's so much stuff going on with that dude's physicality.
Yeah.
But anyway, just like, Ethan is not like running around to get things ready. He's waiting.
And he hates that. He hates it so much because he has no idea what's happening to Benji during that time. So creepy.
Why are you this way?
I love Peg's face. I love it so much.
He makes this entire sequence work so great.
Yes, he's
because you can see, like,
good.
He's scared. He's also frustrated because, like, he knows exactly what's happening. He knows why.
Yes, and he's so angry at himself too. He's so angry at himself because Ethan had been worried about this. Ethan had been worried that he was going to get hurt, and Benji had said, "I know the risks. I can handle it." And now he is actually a risk, and he is actually, like, gonna fuck everything up, and he is so mad at himself.
Yeah, and he knows that, like, this is to manipulate Ethan, and he also knows it's going to work. Like, there's so many levels of, like, frustration for Benji here.
It makes me feel like Simon Pegg should get to play the damsel in distress more. He does it so fucking well.
He's so skilled. Ah, yes, my friend Atlee. I would love to meet the Ethan Hunt who lives in Hunley's head. Sounds like a fascinating person. Never met the guy.
I do
no
love
idea who
that,
the fuck
though.
he is.
I do love that Hunley has this, like, weird, twisted hero worship crush thing on Ethan. Like, oh my god, you know what I just realized?
What?
Hunley is Benji, just a movie behind. Hunley in this movie is Benji from Gross Protocol, and Hunley in the next movie is Benji in Rogue Nation.
No. Fucking vetoed. Nope, not here with you on it. Crossing my arms. No. I'm just gonna keep making a face. I hate Hunley. Though this is his best scene, and is the funniest scene.
It is the funniest scene, for sure. Wow.
This fucking speech that he's gonna give. Also, knowing that it's Ethan makes watching Atlee for this entire sequence fascinating.
And I love that if you know it's Ethan, actually the key moment is when I think Brandt says the term the Syndicate.
Yes.
And suddenly everything goes well. Like, if that somehow hadn't, like, it doesn't sound like it was planned, like the way he says it. It sounds like it just happened to come up. And it's the whole reason this sequence works.
Yeah, because Brandt is a smart cookie.
God, I love that moment. That moment where you're like, oh, fuck. Something completely different is happening here.
Yeah.
And it's not the completely different thing that is actually happening here, where it's actually Ethan.
I love that, like, Ethan is standing there and he's like, okay, I need to get more information about this. Let me play along. What else is new?
Your
Shut up,
life is in
Hundley.
danger. I love that he's doing what he knows Atlee would do, which is just try and change
Redirect.
the subject. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only he's not doing it as expertly as Ethan actually could do it.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it.
I do. Who is this guy, by the way? What do I know him from? The Prime Minister.
I don't know,
guy.
but he's delightful.
He is delightful. I have to look that up after we're done with this, because I don't know where I know him from.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no. No, I don't. I love that so much! It's so British, somehow.
Here we go. I promise you he has not. He is learning so much.
That's such a good fucking line.
Who is this person that he's talking about? I would love to meet him.
And yet there's a grain of truth in it, right? Like,
from the outside, yes.
Yes,
everything he says is correct. But we're like, Ethan was like dead 48 hours ago.
No. 100%. It's funny to me that in getting it so wrong, Hundley is somehow doing something even more embarrassing than just being really wrong. He's being really wrong in front of the guy he's talking about. And I just find that so funny.
Yes. This entire sequence is hilarious.
Did they delay him sometime? Like, I want to know why he erased. Oh, right. He wasn't even planning on being there.
Mm-hmm.
That's so good. That's such an interesting thing to say. I love
British
that.
British politicians. I mean, say what you will. When they have their sex scandals, they are less discerning. I fucking hate that it's Kipling, but it's also the most in-character thing for the British government. Of course it's fucking Kipling.
Yeah, of course it is.
McHugh, I hate it, but it's so perfect.
Uh-huh.
At one point, I want to go through and figure out about how many records it is.
Me
'Cause it looks like it's about 50 records.
What makes you say that?
Just because it looks
Based
like
on
it's
the
about
amounts?
10, about 10 on the screen, and then it keeps flipping. At some point, we'll... I love this moment, because this is the moment that, like, it feels like this is where they have Hundley. They own Hundley's ass.
Yeah.
If I wrote Fallout, they would still have Hundley's ass.
Uh-huh. I want to know what the fuck is in these darts. This is such a good drug, whatever they've got in them. They should have this in all of their vials.
At this moment, they should own Huntley's ass for the rest of the series. Oh well. What the fuck are you reading, Vinter? Is it Story of O? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, pretty much. I love that we know that is actually them setting up the box that they're going to catch. They're going to catch him in. So wait the fucking second. That's how long he has to memorize those?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I never picked up on that before. That's insane.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Don't you love it when Ethan is smart? Isn't that your favorite thing?
It is my fucking favorite thing, which is why I'm gonna get so fucking
I was
pumped
looking at
about
the scroll
MI1.
bar on the side. It can't be more than look at the scroll bar. So it's not that it's a lot of fucking numbers, but it's not impossible. Because I feel like when we read about in fanfic, people act like, he memorized the numbers of every single dollar that was stored. But that's not what he's doing. He's memorizing, probably 35 to 60 accounts, which is a lot, but doable for someone as, autistic as Ethan Hunt.
Yeah. I love my autistic boy. Also, it's interesting when we watch these with other people. Oftentimes, they think that they don't realize this is Benji sitting across from Ilsa. They think that this is Lane. And then, no, this is Benji.
Yeah.
God, this scene. Benji fucking owns this scene.
Yes. Which is impressive because it was written literally in the car on the way to the set.
Seriously?
McHugh, you need to outline.
That's
son
insane.
Of a bitch. Oh yeah, this entire ending was put together. They had 4 days left to shoot, and McHugh figured it out on the way to set, and he just started writing in the car. He wrote this entire bit.
McHugh, clearly it works for you, but also, oh my god, dude. How do you not have a heart attack?
Oh god. Fucking Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
Fucking Simon Pegg. MVP!
Yeah, the way he is so clearly not saying his own words.
Mm-hmm. And the tremble in his voice, and how he gets closer and closer to crying throughout this entire sequence. Yeah, so TC did not have time to memorize his lines, so Peg had them on cue cards and would hold them up off side of the camera and move them slightly so it didn't look like TC was reading.
That's hilarious.
It's fucking dream team making it work, but also the most stressful shit ever.
God.
Yeah, when you eventually get around to listening to the Rogue Nation thing, they just basically look at Simon Pegg's face. Look at him. Look at him.
It's so
and they're right.
Good. So sad.
Maybe
Can you
should have
imagine?
just tried not to kill innocents like Ethan.
Can you imagine Ethan delivering this speech to Benji, who's almost crying? Obviously the way it's cut in the movie is very good, but just, again, thinking about the performativity of Ethan, he is
putting on such a show.
Yeah, he's putting on a show for a camera that he can't even see. It's so small. And he knows that the first person in the audience is basically his husband.
Yeah. Also, how fucking unhinged is this moment?
That he
I'll
just...
give you $50 million to let Benji go.
Uh-huh.
That's just, yeah. Solomon Lane
so
could take that money and walk out the door, and Ethan would never find him again. He knows he's not going to, but...
Okay, tell them the bit about how this works as a metaphor.
Okay. Without me, you're nothing, TC says, looking directly into camera. He's talking about movies. He's talking about how these movies need them. That they're the only people who can make these movies, and that he's the only person who can star in them, because he's the only one who's batshit enough to do all the stuff that he does for the sake of cinema, for the sake of creating something like this. You've been on this roller coaster for so long, and without me, you're nothing. It's so on the nose. Ah, oh, Peg's face. 10 out of 10.
And then we immediately jump into this moment, which I love, where, yep, Ilsa literally uses him as a human fucking shield, which I adore. I love Benji so much.
Fucking great line. That's so good. Ethan is amazing. It's like, if you want your money, not only do you have to let Benji go, you need to take me in, and you're going to have to torture every single digit out of me.
Uh-huh.
So, let's go, party hardy.
Yeah.
Like, I love him.
Also, does Simon Pegg actually wear contacts? Because he took that out so perfectly.
He wears glasses a lot, so maybe.
So probably he has to, because he's not wearing glasses in all of his movies.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he doesn't even refer to her as Ilsa in that line.
Yeah, I think that's why I keep coming back to, like when he does the thing in Fallout, where he's clearly trying to hurt Ethan a lot, but also Benji. Mm-hmm. It feels like... And I don't know why. It's almost like Ilsa is under... It's not even underneath his regard. She's more of a tool.
Yeah, it's
extremely condescending and horrible.
Yes, it's like Lane has a very, very, very subtle version of the misogyny that Davian and, as we'll talk about, Jim Phelps has that makes us hate them so much. McQuarrie is like, yeah, the bad guys are fucking sexist, but I'm not going to make them say gross lines. They're just going to be sort of shits.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah, every time I watch Fallout, I always get struck by that, like, he doesn't consider getting revenge on her specifically, but he will use her to get revenge on the others. Yeah. And fuck, when Benji walks in, he's going to get revenge on him.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting delineation.
Yeah. It's very... sounds like a joke, but it's very Greek in the sense that, like, it feels very much like, you know how people joke about how, like, you get to a certain level of gay and you have to be misogynistic. It's sort of that. It's like, he's just like, he does not see her as even interesting to him because he's so, like, obsessed with Ethan.
Yeah. Which, like, my God, just get over it, my guy. Just stop holding stupid fucking grudges. Because I could promise you, Ethan does not hold that grudge. Like, everybody's accusing him of, like, oh, you just want to beat Lane. I don't think he gives a shit. No. I think he just wants all this to be over.
Yeah. And he cares about Lane being out there because he cares about the damage that he could do. But he doesn't care about Lane on a personal level.
Yeah. He cares about the fact that he knows Lane is a petty bitch. And he now cares about specific people. And that's ammo.
Yeah.
Off he goes.
Yeah.
I love that Ilsa gets this sequence, that she gets,
too.
like, the final boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
In a way that Ethan just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's so tense, and she's so good at this.
Yeah. And again, thinking back to the way Vinter was sort of had that really creepy sexual overtones in that first scene with him, it feels very good for Ilsa to basically be able to be like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna fucking kill you actually, bitch. Like, it's so good.
Yeah. I will give credit where it's due that, like, his weird sexual overtones is omnidirectional.
It is! But I like that, you know? I like that he's just a generalist creep. And then Ilsa's like, actually, you fucking suck and I'm gonna kill you.
Yes. Somebody let this man sleep. He's been running for over 6 months.
Yeah.
Solomon, get a hobby. Get a hobby that is not obsessing over this random agent.
Mm-hmm. Although he's hardly a random agent, he's a manifestation of destiny.
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, God, she's so fucking good. Oh, God, it's so brutal. Oh, there she goes. High ground, baby.
Oh, so good. And again, it's the thighs, right? It's that I love that she gets to ride him down to the ground. That she basically just, like, elevator, your death, I'm riding it. Like, I don't know, something about that is fucking good.
Yeah, it's very powerful. Meanwhile, Ethan is throwing himself through glass.
Himself through windows over and over again.
And once again, he gets out of this not by being the fastest or the best fighter, but because he's good at manipulating, he's good at playing people.
Mm-hmm. And he's specifically good at playing people through his own weaknesses. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't go down there and show himself, like, waiting, like, come on, come and get me, or anything like that, which is what you could sort of expect from, again, like, an action hero. And instead he's like, I'm wounded. Like, you should come finish me off. And it's like, no, fuck you, bitch. I don't know, I love it!
Yeah. He's back, baby. McHugh is writing and directing. We have Ethan back. He gets to be smart. He gets to be a guile hero. It's good.
I have a theory about this line. I have a theory, which is, okay, obviously on one level, at this moment in time, this is all there is of the IMF, right? Because the IMF currently doesn't exist. But I also think that it's important almost to the way Ethan and Ethan's team functions as a part of IMF. Like, in MI1, there's this sense that Ethan is just a tiny cog in a very big machine. Whereas by this point, it's like, no, IMF would be fucking nothing without Ethan, you know? I think that's very interesting. Again, thinking about it from the perspective of a meta-narrative about making the movies. Like, to a certain extent, even though he was a producer, TC was still fairly replaceable at the beginning, but now...
We know that because they almost managed... Well, they didn't get that close, but they tried very hard to with Ghost Protocol. And failed. And
it's like, at this point, they're like, you didn't do it. We are gonna, like... you cannot do this without me. I think that's cool.
And spreading it to the others is like, we are this movie.
Yeah, which I think is something else McHugh talks about. I read it in an interview the other day. Basically, McHugh talks about how TC is very protective of, like, his collaborators, and, like, he knows that his star power will basically carry him through anything, but he cares very much that he uplifts his collaborators at the same time, so that when something succeeds for him, so does it succeed for them.
Mm-hmm. We gotta talk about the fact that their goodbye is a fucking hug, and
it's
how...
so good.
Yes. It's not a sweeping kiss, it's not an I love you, it's good luck, a hug, and goodbye. Mm-hmm. And it's very tender, and it's very emotional and stuff, but, like, it does definitely help the wonderful queer reading of this movie, of, like, yep.
Yeah, like, in one of your fics, you have it so that basically Benji, Ethan, and Ilsa are a triad, with the Benji and Ilsa branch being, like, platonic. Non-sexual. Yeah. But you could also read it as, like, the Ethan and Ilsa branch being platonic, because there is this moment of just, like, no, he loves her a lot, and he cares about her, because he's adopted her, of course, but it does not feel like she is, at least to me, the love interest. And
it's not the same vibe as with Julia, because he's kind of already done that, and it didn't work.
Which I think is one thing that I sort of think is lost slightly in Fallout. I think in Fallout they're trying to set her up as the successor to Julia, and I like it better in this movie, the fact that she's something completely different.
Yes. Yeah, which is probably one of the reasons why this is our favorite. Yeah. And also because, like, as much as, like, he's extremely invested in Ilsa and does all of this to help Ilsa get out, and they have this romantic tension throughout the entire movie, and the thing with the shoes, like, all of that is true. It is also true of Benji. There's, like, literally at least as much, like, chemistry going on there, and that's part of why I love this movie so much. Yeah. Because I'm gay, and this is the gay one.
Yeah.
Like, we could do a TED Talk about the interesting dynamics and, like, inverting gendered roles, and, like, Benji is the damsel in distress and all that. At the end of the day, it's the gay one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we just did. I think we did the TED Talk, and then we ended with, it's the gay one.
Yeah, it's the gay one. Yeah, remember back in Ghost Protocol when you blew Benji a kiss, and that was not remotely the gayest movie? This is the gay one.
This is definitely the gay one, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, until we see what McHugh has cooked up for the next two.
Yes. We'll okay, any final thoughts?
It's a perfect movie. I don't have any notes. It's just a perfect movie.
Yeah, I do adore it. It is so fun. So what you'll hear in the re-recorded MI1 commentary is that MI1 drives me fucking insane. Batshit. Oh my god. Brain explode. But this movie is just... It's like a warm bath. It's like the favorite food that you don't get to eat very often. It's just like, it's so fun. It's so delectable. And it's just like, it's not necessarily like the delicacy, I feel like, of MI1. It's not something you don't expect. It's just like, oh, this is so good every single time.
Yes. Yes. And every moment, it's heartfelt and wonderful. It has probably, out of all of them, the most heart to it. Yeah. Definitely. Which is, for no small part, because it is the Ethan and Benji show, and, like, what Benji brings to the party is so much heart and so much emotion.
For sure.
Yeah. And, like, one of the interesting things about pairing this one with Mission Impossible 1, which we talked about originally, was, like, I always liked older Ethan, but I didn't love him until I saw where he started with MI1. And now coming back to this Ethan, how we've seen his journey to come to this point where he is so tired, but so warm and so concerned and caring and genuine. This is where we get to the point where Ethan is so fucking genuine all the time.
Yeah.
And that is what I love about him.
It is. And it's like, this is, even though obviously Fallout is this nightmare, in some ways this movie feels like the emotional, like, release from the absolute trauma that he goes through in MI1. It's like, this movie shows that he does have people now. He does trust them. He cares about them. He knows how to save them. Like, it won't happen to him again, basically. He has made sure that the thing that happened to him 20 years ago will never happen again.
Yeah, because, like, from MI1, we experience, like, the original trauma that made Ethan who he is, which is an arc that is still waiting to land in Dead Reckoning Part 2, I assume. And in MI2, it's like, we don't know who the fuck that was.
Yeah.
MI3, we can see, like, he's trying to make progress. He's trying to figure out what he wants to be and who he actually is. And by the time we hit Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation, it's like, we've finally met, like, an Ethan Hunt who understands himself more. He's never going to be over the trauma of the things that has happened to him, but he's finally able to, like, grow as a person, and he's growing into a better person.
And then this movie is just like, he gets a moment of peace. He gets a moment, not of peace, but he gets a moment of, like, he has people he cares about and he gets to protect them. And then Fallout is just like, it's not enough. You're still always in your nightmare. And then who the fuck knows what happens in Dead Reckoning.
Oh, the only way to free him is to either kill him at the end of Dead Reckoning Part 2 or destroy the IMF. There is no other option.
I so hope they destroy the IMF. Oh my god.
Yes. Come on, McHugh. Come on, Kamiko. Fucking prayer circle for McHugh.
Yeah, seriously.
Do it. It's like, and also, TC, this is the way you make sure nobody else takes over your franchise, my man. Fucking destroy it. Yep. Torch it on the way out the door.
Yeah.
Okay. It is very late and I have work in the morning, so next will be the final installment, Mission Impossible 1.
Alright, thank you very much, all.
Bye.